Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Goonies World. I am Meanie, also known as Ryan, and I am joined by Goonie himself, also known as Colin.
Yeah, hello.
And, of course, Johnny Firiel, also known as Sean.
Yeah, hello.
And once again, our special guest, the good Dr. H, also known as Zach.
It's a beautiful day, gents.
It is a beautiful day, and I'm assuming it is also a beautiful day in the forest of Sherwood.
It is, and once again, we are playing a Tricube Tales game called Heroes of Sherwood Forest. This is our third installment. In our last two episodes, our heroes, Spencer Twitty, a runaway boy, and Belgar Fregosi, a somewhat freakish cook, and Arthur Brown, an outlawed noble bastard, they went outlaw, and they robbed Sarangaran Dekusi, making off with what legend is already calling the poop ruby, which Dekusi had hidden in his ass. So our heroes attracted a group of followers after that called the Lovely Lads, led by a young Roger Goode, and went to the Sherwood hamlet of Sourhampton, where they distributed alms to the poor. And they met Robin Hood himself, who suggested that they were poaching in his forest, and they should pay him a percentage of their take. However, when our heroes bested Robin Hood's champions in tests of agility and wit and strength, the famed outlaw gave them a temporary reprieve. And the next day, they learned that Roger Goode, young Roger Goode of the Lovely Lads, had been out hunting early and was captured by the Flemish mercenaries who are working for the Sheriff of Nottingham. It seems they believe that young Roger is the Poop Ruby Bandit, and he's being held in the dungeons of Nottingham Castle, where Belgar was once hideously tortured and disfigured. So, vowing to free him, our heroes took the advice of Sourhampton's village elder, which was that Nottingham Castle is so well defended that they would need magical assistance. So, against the advice of the nun, Sister Maud, they went off to wake up the sleeping wizard Merlin. And on the way to the Cresswell Crags, where his cave is, they hid from the Flemish mercenaries who were out scouring the forest for the rest of the Poop Ruby bandits, and eventually found Merlin's cave and woke up the legendary sorcerer. He gave them complicated instructions on how to summon the demon Firiel, who could grant them special powers. So, performing the ritual under the light of the moon and under the baleful influence of the planet Saturn, they thought at first that they had failed to conjure the demon, but a young girl appeared at the edge of the firelight and asked, "Did you call me?" And that's where we're going to begin part 3 of our adventure. You're there in the symbol that you scratched into the dirt with the names of the demons, and Merlin is still hiding behind the moss-covered rock. And yeah, you look over, it seems like a perfectly innocent little girl, all dressed in virginal white, and has long flaming red hair, though that's almost impossibly too red. And she's standing right on the edge of the firelight where you really can't get a great look at her. And she just stares at you with her great big cat-like saucer eyes. And
You don't look like a demon to me.
No, you don't look like much of a man to me.
Well, I mean, I'm going through changes right now. Yeah, I'm in transition right now.
So, why do you call me from my home?
Well, we were looking for some assistance of some other type.
Most people are. Did Merlin help you call me?
Well, he's the one, yeah, I mean, he helped.
Is that Merlin hiding behind the rock?
Well, you're not going to hurt him, are you?
Of course not. I love Merlin.
Well, he seems to be a little shy right now. Like, he's a little afraid of you, maybe. Are you mean to him?
Belgar will go over there and try to grab Merlin and pull him out.
You grab Merlin by the scuff of his neck and pull him up. Oh, hello there.
You mean this Merlin? This guy right here?
Yes, that's the one. Hello, Merlin. Yes, Firiel, good to see you again. I lost a contact lens back here. You don't know what contact lenses are, but I've lost one. And he bends back down behind me. Well, you know, Merlin lives backwards in time, so he knows a lot that we don't know. But yes, I can give you gifts of power. What is it you want? I can make you invisible, or I can cast an illusion that will make you appear to be someone else, or I can give you the power of flight, but not all three. You must choose one.
Do we all have to get the same thing?
No. You all have your own souls, don't you?
Well,
I think so.
Okay, good.
That's a very interesting question, little girl. What do you want to do with our souls?
Oh, probably nothing unless you don't follow the exact directions. And if you don't follow the exact directions, then your soul is mine.
Well, is it really, all the directions very hard to follow?
Oh no, they're so ever so easy. But first, what power can I grant you?
I'd be very interested in hearing these directions first to know whether it's a good deal, especially for our young lad here, his young soul so untarnished by the world, he may not want to trade so frivolously.
Oh, the world will tarnish every soul eventually. Well, when I give you the power, then you say, Firiel, take my soul, lay me in my hole, I will pay the toll. And then you take the little figure of yourself that you made from the beeswax and you bury it. And whenever you say those words, the magic will work for 1 hour. So don't say the words until you really need it. And any time during the next 3 days you may do this, but on the third day, before midnight, then you must rebury the mannequins that you made of yourself out of the beeswax. And if you don't, then at midnight you will die and you will go to hell.
Did anyone catch all that?
I was wondering, I was hoping somebody might have written it down, but I don't suppose we have. Probably you can't even read. How unfortunate.
I can read.
I can read a little. I can't write very well, though.
Everyone thinks I can't read, but I'm educated. I'm very educated, more than you people.
I'm tell you what,
young.
When I grant you the power, when you're ready to use it, you'll have the powers for an hour after you say, Firiel, take my soul, lay me in my hole, I will pay the toll. You may do this any time in the next 3 days, but remember, you have to be back here by midnight with the mannequin, and then you won't die, and you won't go to hell yet.
Well, I think I can remember that. I hope anyway. Right. Well, I think I would like to be invisible.
Most people do.
Well,
I would like to have an illusion. I would like to be. Do I have to pick this specific illusion now, or do I get to pick it at a time when I say the magic words?
When you say the words, and you think of who you would like to appear to be, then you will become him to everyone else.
Okay, I would take the illusion then.
Okay. And what about you, my transitioning young man?
Well, I've always wanted to fly
Very well.
like a bird.
You shall fly. So, don't forget, anytime in the next 3 days you say the words, and the magic will work for 1 hour. But don't forget, you must be back in this spot in 3 days to bury your mannequins. Or you know what happens. And like most of my NPCs, she's completely lost her English accent over the course of a few minutes.
Well, I suppose then that perhaps we should get going towards the castle. We do have to be back here in 3 days to bury the mannequins.
Is it a deal? Do we have a deal? She says.
Well, I think we pretty much have to agree on it now. I mean, we came all this way. We woke up Merlin. We called upon you. So, well, if everyone else agrees, I guess we're gonna have to take this deal. Do we need to shake on it or something?
No. She walks closer into the light, into your circle, and she holds out her pinky. You just have to pinky swear.
All right.
Seems a bit odd, but so I'll pinky swear.
Well, this is normal behavior for 10-year-olds and such. We do it all the time. Pinky swears are legally binding.
Does she look like a little girl or a young woman? Or
She looks like a little
woman?
girl. She looks like a little girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although you're quite certain it is not her actual form.
Yeah. Right. Belgar will just waddle over there and stick out his, what I imagine to be very stubby, nubbed, gnarled pinky and just,
Yes, I will do this.
So do you do like a group pinky swear where everybody locks pinkies and
Yeah.
all right. So the second that happens, you lock pinkies, and the second they're all locked, Firiel just vanishes. Merlin pokes his head up from behind the rock. He says, "Well, thank goodness that's over. Whew. I was a little concerned.
What do you know, old man?
Well, the last time Firiel and I spoke, we had a bit of a falling out, as it were. Of course, that hasn't happened yet, as far as you're concerned. But anyway, all this has been so terribly exhausting. I just want to go back to sleep. But I think you should have the common decency to roll the boulder back in front of my cave entrance before you go."
Before that, sir, this disagreement, does it have anything to do with us?
Oh, no, dear, no. No, it's not. But I'm just getting so sleepy as it is. Would you mind having your lovely lads roll that big boulder back in front of the cave entrance with all the witch marks over it, so I can go back to my long sleep?
I guess that's fine. Yeah, we'll have the lovely lads do it, and then we'll be off on our way.
All right, then. Well, good luck to you. Remember what I told you about the garderobe, which you asked if you were going to succeed in your mission. He just said, stay out of the garderobe. It was a good bit of advice from a question I didn't expect, and I had to give you an honest answer on that one. Garderobe being the toilets. So, yeah, if you want to have the lovely lads roll the old boulder back up in front of the cave there in the Cresswell Crags, and you want to travel on... Huh? What's that?
That means go before we leave, Spencer.
Yeah, I know. I will just go now, then.
Yeah, probably best to go now. And I will assume that you travel off. Of course, you've been traveling throughout most of the day. You were searching for beeswax and all the accoutrements of the ritual. And do you want to get some sleep here in the crags, or do you want to sleep in the forest somewhere, or do you just want to travel through the night and get to Nottingham Castle as soon as you can?
Well, we only have 3 days,
Yeah,
so
we don't know what's ahead of us. Or, I mean, we don't know, if we get there, we want to get there as soon as possible so that we have all the time, as much as possible to get back, because we don't know, we could be injured or something trying to get back. So I think we best hurry.
Okay. And you think it will probably take about a day to get to Nottingham Castle, but you guys have a fairly decent area knowledge of Sherwood Forest. So I assume you walk out of the Cresswell Crags and go back through the paths that you know, heading north to Nottingham Castle. You go back to the road where you had encountered the Flemish mercenaries earlier in the day, and you take it for some time. Just about dawn, you're reaching a great clearing where the town of Nottingham is, and Nottingham Castle is impossible to miss. And imagine Belgar, a shiver of horror of your memories of the dungeons of this place runs through you. But Nottingham Castle's on a long hill, and one end of the hill is about 130 feet above the town of Nottingham. So it's a really dominant castle in a strong strategic position. And the River Trent runs nearby, near the town of Nottingham. But because this is dawn, there are many farmers coming into town for the market day. There's a big, village green in the middle of the town, and they're setting up their stalls and getting ready to do some buying or selling. And there are many people walking into Nottingham here. Now, you're still at the edge of the forest, so however you want to get into Nottingham is up to you. Whether you'd like to walk in with the crowds or find some other way.
Belgar is a man who knows how to get a thing when he needs to be able to get a thing. His crafty trait.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see if maybe we could procure some cloaks or some garb that would help us easily slip in amongst the people.
Well, I'm going to argue that you probably already have some cloaks, that you could pull the hood up over, that type of thing. I think that you could acquire that pretty easily. I think you probably already have that. Certainly cloaks, anyway. I think most people do have a cloak. I think most people have cloaks. And probably some hoods. So if you would like to try to walk in with a stream of people all hooded and cloaked, then that might be one way.
Yeah, would there be anything distinctive about us at this point, given our the tales of us, or do we think that they would have stretched here so that we may be made men at this point?
Well, that all depends. First of all, you never know what Roger Goode may have said. God only knows what they're doing to him. You know that the Flemish mercenaries are looking for more Poop Ruby bandits, but with your cloaks on, you're not sure really. News does travel fast in Sherwood Forest.
Not like wanted posters on
the
bulletin board with our faces on them or anything.
No, they really haven't had time to do that yet. You see plenty of wanted posters for Robin Hood on the trees nearby, some of the sides of the outbuildings lying on the outskirts of Nottingham. But as usual, Robin Hood gets most of the press. But assuming you guys do go ahead and walk into the town all cloaked and just get in with all the farmers and other people who are coming here to market, there is a minstrel leaning up against the wall, and he's strumming his lute, but he's not playing a tune or anything yet. He's like, "Come on, give us a new tune. Give us a new jaunty tune from the forest. I'm Alan Adale, but I'm so bored and sick to death of this mediocre power pop I've been cranking out over the last 18 months. I'm ready for something new. Does anyone have a fine tale, a fine song from the forests I might not have heard yet? I'm taking requests.
I certainly don't think we should share with him the song that we heard on the way.
The song about the Kusi.
Yes.
Oh, did someone say Dakusi?
And about how he's a silly goosey. Well,
Oh,
we didn't. We just heard it. We weren't. It was just, ringing out from the forest.
Well, the song you heard. Sing me a little bar. Sing me a bar or two from it.
Oh, I don't think we can. It could get you in trouble.
It's highly inappropriate.
Oh, that sounds like exactly the sort of thing I like. Well, certainly I like the silly goosey part. That rhymes. Ongron Dakusi. The goosey. Would anyone like to hear the song about Ongron Dakusi that these fine fellows have for us? And of course, now
No,
the crowd.
it's not our song. It's just something we heard. I could be mistaken. I think we should be going now.
Yes, it was the goosey and the goosey, and he was out in the wood, and then he got robbed by Roger Goode, something like that. I don't remember all of it, but it was something to that effect.
All right. I see. No, wait, says someone. I've heard the song. I heard some lads singing, and it goes a little like this.
Lord Ongarondagoosey, he's such a silly goosey. His claims to being noble are a farce. He's such a bumbling booby. Guess where he hid his ruby? He shoved that giant gem right up his arse. Lord Ongarondagoosey, he's such a silly goosey. His claims to being noble are a farce. He's such a bumbling booby. Guess where he hid his ruby? He shoved a giant gem right up his arse. Lord Ongarondagoosey, he's such a silly goosey. His claims to being noble are a farce.
Yeah, so Alan Adale does play the song, and it gets some nervous laughter from the people. There's not like a lot of soldiers walking around, but towards the end of the song, a bailiff from the castle and two castle guards come strolling down the end of the street. And then the bailiff's lived well. His gut hangs out way over his belt. And they're not coming down here because of the song, but because people are coming into town. And he comes waddling up to you three and says, you don't recognize your faces. I don't believe you paid the presence tax before. Yes, there's a tax for having your presence here in Nottingham on market day. So that's tuppence for each of you. Tuppence. No, that's tuppence for each of you. That's 2 pennies. Come on then, hand it over. Got to pay your taxes. Prince John needs every cent. Get his poor brother, Richard, out of ransom.
Well, I'm assuming we have that.
You got a little bit, yeah. Yeah, you guys didn't give every cent you had to the poor folk of Southampton. But do you want to pay the tuppence, or do you want to get belligerent?
We better go ahead and pay.
Yeah.
We don't want to draw attention.
I should certainly pay.
We've got your taxes right here. We're very good tax-paying citizens.
He's got a little box attached to his belt with a little slit, on the top to like put your coins in. And Belgar, as you put your coins in, he looks at you. He does a double take.
Belgar was not on team pay taxes, but he will if his friends do. However, he will try to do it in a very gross way. So he'll take out, I assume, these small coins, of some sort,
little pennies.
So he would take them out and he'd kind of look at it, bring it up to the light, and kind of lick it a few times.
He's demonstrating that it's real.
That's good. We'll put that one in there, and then we can pull another one out here and
reach towards his butt, wherever his coins are. I don't know, but make it as much as he can appear. That's where he's taking it from.
Apparently, the butt has become a very popular place to store valuables.
Kind of give it. He has a long, gross nose. I imagine give it a sniff and
All right. Well, since you've made so sure that he's gotten your attention. He says, "Hey, oh, wait.
They call it butt tuppence.
Tuppence. Well,
It's the butt tuppence bandit.
well, Mr. Butt Tuppence, do I know you from somewhere?" says the bailiff of the castle. "I can't help but think that I've seen your face before, my friend. But I don't know if you know who I am." And you have this memory of while you were tortured, he wasn't one of the guys torturing you, but he was like in the background laughing and having entertainment while they were torturing and disfiguring you back in the day. He doesn't seem to quite recognize you, though. "Just can't help but think I know your face, friend."
I used to be an altar boy when I was a little boy. I can see that you're a fine church-going man. So perhaps that's where.
Perhaps. Well, I hope you haven't forgotten your love of God. God loves the Sheriff of Nottingham, and he loves good Prince John. He'll probably be our king someday. I very much doubt we'll ever get our good King Richard out of the clutching hands of those Saracens who are holding him for ransom. But I just as soon that you get about your business. What is your business here anyway? You're not exactly loaded for shopping.
What?
The boy's never seen the castle.
Yeah, I'm blind. And I've never seen it.
Well,
how could I have seen it?
So because he's blind and he's never seen the castle, we were gonna go there and tour it or look at it, and I was going to describe it to him as we walked past.
What does it look like? What? Tell me what it looks like.
I have serious doubts that you're blind, young man. You didn't seem too blind a few moments ago. You've certainly been looking around.
Well, what evidence do you have that I was able to see? I'm very good at maneuvering around. I've been blind since I was a wee little baby.
It's fairly uncouth, sir. Honorable sir. It's fairly uncouth to say such things about a little boy.
Uncouth?
That he would be lying to you.
Uncouth? Uncouth? Mr. Butt Tuppence?
Honorable sir. Honorable sir. Honorable sir. That it would be as if you were like that. I'm not saying you are like that, so surely you wouldn't be like that and accuse this innocent young boy of anything of that nature.
I don't have to stand here and listen to this. In fact, I don't like any of your attitudes at all. In fact, I detect significant levels of sass in the vicinity. And something about your story doesn't add up. I think we'll take you back to the castle for questioning. And he snaps his fingers, and the two guards start to walk towards you. People make a little bit of room here in the village green. There's nothing else really around you now but a pile of hay with a pitchfork stuck in it. And there's a huge wooden tub of manure, that they're going to make fertilizer out of. And then there's a large outdoor community oven with a big open door in it that people can stick their bread in there to bake. And otherwise, the people are backing up and starting to look nervous as this bailiff gestures his two men to come. One of them is going to try to grab Belgar, and the other one tries to grab Spencer. And the other one, and then the bailiff is just fixing Arthur Brown with a "don't you get involved if you know what's good for you" type of look. So they start to move towards you. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I'm looking at Belgar's quirk here that says vengeful.
Yes,
and
indeed.
So,
and I'm definitely trying to play on that.
Sure. I believe that Belgar would, when someone gets close to him, one of the guardsmen, his first move would be to punch him as hard as he could in the dick.
Okay. Once again, another dick shot on Goonies World, where we probably have more dick shots than any other podcast. I'm going to venture to say.
In fact, I'm going to modify that plan and say that he's not going to punch him. He's going to full on like mountain goat ram him right in the crotch with the crown of his head.
Okay, well,
and he's kind of a short, stubby bowling ball kind of guy, so I imagine it would be a pretty good lineup for him. Just right into it.
I think you're right. Well,
I was just going to say that he would have to change. He now has to change his name to Butt Tuppence Cockrammer.
But Tuppence Cockrammer, yeah. But well, if it's going to be Cockrammer, can we have some
write a song about that, Bard?
Well, anyway, so you let fly with the kick. Go ahead and roll your dice. I'm going to consider this to be kind of a crafty attack, so you should be able to get all 3 of your dice, okay? Because you planned it out well. And don't forget, you guys have got the karma that you could spend. But are you successful? Did you get a 5 or 6 on any of those dice?
6, 5, 1.
Oh, that's great. So don't forget, in this system, I constantly do this where I run away with the narration like a traditional game master. But you narrate to me what happens when you make this attack on the.
So I'd like him to be the guy to be somewhat. Obviously, he's coming up to get. I think that he would probably presume that the bailiff was just trying to get a random drunkard or a random. Trying to oppress a random normal townsfolk who would submit. And so all to say, I think he would be a little surprised by this course of action. And I'd like Belgar to just be able to, just full force, almost like propel himself like a pogo stick, crown of his head right into his crotch. And ideally, if he could get enough force with it to where this guy just kind of like backpedals, and then was it iced tea plunge, or what would they fall backwards with the arms open, but straight into that pile of manure.
Yeah, I was going to say, please remember the manure.
Yeah. I didn't put a pitchfork in an open oven and a vat of manure around here for nothing. Let me tell you that. Why you? And then the other guard. Then while bailiff is watching his subordinate stagger backwards and fall in the manure. To the crowd was a suppressed laughter and a few cheers from slightly further away. So you know that the people of Nottingham have no great love for this bailiff or his men. But then the other guy is trying to grab you, Spencer. What do you do?
Well, I was going to let him take me, but I don't want to be the only one going into the prison, right now. So, I think I will try to just kind of dance out of the way and see if I can just get out of his grasp.
Okay, well, go for it. Go ahead and roll your dice. This does fit in with your character trait of agile.
Yeah.
So I think you should get all 3 of your dice, and let me know if you get a 5 or 6 on any of your dice.
Yes, I got 2 5s.
All right, well, tell us what happens. Tell us what you do.
Okay, so this guy's grabbing at me, and I just am sort of doing some, what do they call that in football, like the juke or whatever, twirling around and making them miss. And did you say there was a pitchfork or something?
There's a pitchfork nearby in a pile of hay, yeah.
Okay. Well, it's like he can fall into that, he can fall into that hay and like on his ass and get poked in the ass.
Okay, yeah, I can totally see that. You're doing such fancy footwork that he becomes unbalanced, and trying to grab you. Why, you little, get away. And he staggers back, falls into the pile of hay, and the pitchfork just wasn't set in there just quite right. And he howls and leaps up into the air, real big high cartoon leap, holding his butt, and the pitchfork falls out of his butt. And and again, there's more stifled laughter and a few cheers from not too close by, as people seem quite interested in this. And meanwhile, the bailiff fixes you with a look. Arthur Brown goes, "I can tell you're a man of breeding, and you're responsible for this shenanigans. Get over here, you!" And he gets out his manacles, and he's starting to charge towards you. And what do, Arthur?
Under my breath, I'm going to say,
Firiel, take my soul, put me in my hole. I will bathe the hole.
Okay, you say it, and now suddenly... And what did you choose again? Was it invisibility?
yeah.
Yeah. And so suddenly you just blink out of existence. I mean, you're not even sure it happened, right? But he said, "What?" And his mouth just opens in a big O. There's a huge gasp from the... He vanished. It's witchcraft. They're witches. Get them. And then, but the get them is just spoken to the people in general, but they're backing away now, slowly. Why, I'll have more men back down in this village. You can't run forever, says the bailiff. I've got my eyes on you, little one, and you hideous freak. And I'm going to remember where I know you from.
You're drunk. You are completely wasted.
What?
Yeah.
I never touch the stuff anymore. Had a rough couple of months, but I haven't had any in a long time, and I resent that. Now, you two pathetic losers, he's saying to his manure-covered subordinate, and the subordinate with the 3 fresh prongs, prong holes in his butt. And I've got your number. I've got your descriptions. Oh, watch out, because the day is coming. And he does a thing where he points at his eyes, and he points back at you and lets you know it. But he also looks around at the crowd, who's obviously not on his side. And he storms in a huff with as much dignity as he can muster. And his fat roll that's hanging out over his belt bounces as he walks back up the road to the castle with his with his shamed castle guards following him. And as they're walking away, the people just erupt into cheers all around, but a lot of them are still a little confused about your disappearance, Arthur. And Alan Adale, the minstrel, comes up to you two, and he says, "Oh, that's an excellent trick. Can you tell me how you did it?"
He snuck away. He's very sneaky.
It's just an illusion.
Well,
Yeah.
well, even Robin Hood isn't that sneaky, he says.
I smack him with my
Yeah, I know. Wait. What? No,
Maybe.
what did I say?
Maybe,
Invisible slap.
maybe Robin Hood.
No,
Maybe Robin Hood is not the sneakiest.
well, maybe he's
No.
not.
He's not. In fact, people should start calling him Rotten Hood because he's rotten. He's not what we've been told he is.
Well, I'm the one who made up most of the songs about him, but now that I know your new
Did you make
song...
up the? Did you make up the one where he directs to strong-arm taxes out of people?
Oh, I would never believe that. I'd have to be shown incontrovertible proof. But you have taught me a lovely new number, which I'm going to sing all over Nottingham. But what is your friend's name who disappeared so? I should write a song about him. And how he disappeared so handily and how sneaky he is. What was his name?
Well,
That I
you
may
should
immortalize him in legend.
write a song about how it's a crazy world. His name is
Yes.
Arthur Brown.
Yes, the crazy world of Arthur Brown. That sounds lovely. Well, I'll get to that, but if I were you, I'd I'd follow his example and make yourselves disappear, because they'll have more soldiers crawling this village soon enough. Most of the Flemish mercenaries are out, but the Sheriff of Nottingham's men are no slouches, despite what you may have seen just now. So I'd be very careful if I were you. And he walks off strumming his lute. Yon grande cousi, and some people pick up the refrain and begin singing it. So, now, you're invisible, Arthur, and what do you three do?
I've got to be honest. I thought that we were a bit closer to the actual castle, and my plan was to go invisible and rush into the dungeons and free our friend. But I'm afraid I shot my wad a bit early.
I don't think you shot your wad too early. When I say the road to the castle, I literally more like the path. You know what I mean? That leads up the hill to the castle. It's not far away. It's overlooking the town.
I could use my illusion to. And
you can use your illusion too.
Use my illusion too. Yeah,
and make myself look like a guard, and we could go in. I could go in as the guard, and you could go in invisible, and we could go get Roger Goode and break him out.
Oh, I think that's a lovely idea. What about you, Spencer? What would you play a part in this fiasco?
Oh, well, I just want to fly. If there's a reason for me to fly, I will. But I don't want to be seen flying unless we're on the way out.
A flying boy could get up to the top of the battlements and could sneak in from up there, or could be a distraction if things go wrong.
I was thinking
you could fly above people and drop rocks on their heads. That would be great.
Well, I certainly think that a young flying boy over the courtyard would cause enough of a distraction. Although it may not be necessary.
Well...
And I hope that you'd be able to dodge crossbow bolts.
Well, I don't know. Well, let's just get a closer look and get the layout and find out maybe where, what room Roger Goode is being held in.
Well, you're in luck there because Belgar has spent time in the dungeons. And the dungeons are in the bottom of the largest tower. And they're basically two ways into the dungeons that you know of. There's through the main entrance of the castle and then into the bottom floor of that tower. There's a room with a trap door in the floor where they just throw people down into the dungeon. When they want to go in there and get them to mess with them, they'll just climb down in with a ladder. But there's also a way in which you could crawl in through a cesspit that's full of nice soil and then climb up into the garderobe chute and get into the tower that way. And I guess there's a third way, in which would be to fly up to the top of the tower and just land on the top and go down.
I have another idea. So I take the appearance of a guard, and we put manacles on you, but we don't tighten them all the way. You'll make them so you can sneak out of them if you need to. And we go up there, and I say I've got a prisoner that we're taking into the dungeons, and we take you into the dungeons, but then Arthur comes with us. He's invisible, and when we get to the dungeons, then he can go and get Roger Goode, and then we can all escape.
Yeah, I could fly out if needed, and Arthur will be invisible, and you'll be a guard. And I don't see the problem.
Yes, it sounds like a lovely idea to me.
So I think Belgar would then duck around a corner or somewhere and take the appearance of a guard. The question is whether to take the appearance of a specific guard or just a nondescript guard. We'll say, how many would we know whether there's like 10 guards or
there's like dozens and dozens of them. There's probably more than 100.
Okay.
The whole castle is just bristling with guards.
safe to say a nondescript guard could do okay. They don't necessarily all know each other.
Yeah.
So nondescript guard with him. If we could get, again, with Belgar being somewhat crafty and highly perceptive, perhaps there's a way we could spot some manacles, or we could source some manacles from somewhere around.
I think because you're so highly perceptive, I think we can make that a rather easy roll. So why don't you go ahead and make your roll? I think you're crafty. I think you're perceptive. So this is a 4 is the only target number you need on this.
642.
Okay, well, yeah, you do manage to find a pair of manacles. And luckily, they're man-sized. They're ever so slightly too big for Spencer without being real obvious.
And so I'd like to also grab that pitchfork, however. Just
Okay.
in case you need a weapon or something. I assume the illusion does not also give me, like, any sort of weaponry. But it might be useful to have a sharp stick if need be. And bring in Spencer under the guise of he's going to the dungeons because he's the one that stabbed whoever in the butt with this pitchfork.
Okay. Well, I'll assume you guys head up the path. I assume that you have said your mantra.
Take my soul, lay me in my hole, and I will pay the toll.
Okay. Close
And I don't
enough.
assume there's any mirrors around, but he would then kind of like, hey, look at his hands.
No.
No. I don't know if he could see the illusion or not, but...
No, you can see your own illusion. In fact, when you pick up the pitchfork, it actually kind of becomes part of the illusion because it gives... Once you pick it up, it has the appearance of being a spear. You know, like if you were to pick up a stick, it might look like a sword. You know, everything you pick up kind of matches.
I think I would want it to stay the pitchfork if possible.
No,
That's part of it.
Because that was the
evidence.
evidence.
The evidence, right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's your intent. No one really knows how demon magic works anyway. So you guys move up to the castle. Now, during the day, the castle gates are open. You know, they're on the top of the hill. They'd have plenty of warning of any kind of attack and, you know, who's going to attack them. So you find yourself right inside the castle pretty quickly. And as you're walking over towards where the base of the tallest tower is, you can hear some laughter, though, from a room. There's quite a few people perhaps feasting or something like that. And as you walk past that doorway, you can look inside, and you see the Sheriff of Nottingham himself in there. He's sitting with about a dozen other guys, and they're all drinking and eating. Guy of Gisborne is there, who's a terrible man. And they've got this giant pile of money on the table, just huge coins. And the sheriff's actually, like, counting out the coins. And he's like, 1 for you, 3 for me, and 6 for Prince John. 1 for you, and 3 for me, and 6 for Prince John. And every time he does that, the men all huzzah and raise their drinks again and take another bite of their great big Renaissance Festival turkey legs. Although, I guess there's not too many turkeys running around medieval England. But they're goose legs. And, so they're obviously counting their ill-gotten gains. There's more money in there than they'll ever need in their lifetimes, and it appears Prince John's getting most of it. I only bring that up in case there's any mischief that anyone wants to do with them on the way through, but it's certainly not a requirement.
I mean, being invisible, I can't resist. So Arthur is going to say, I'll catch up with you gentlemen shortly. And he's going to just run in there and just grab the whole pile of coins and run out.
Well, there's a massive... I can't get every single one, right? And a lot of the coins spill out onto the floor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever he can't carry. I mean, obviously he just will scatter as much as he can and make it a huge mess for them to fucking clean up.
Good God, it's a whirlwind, says one. And there's no whirlwinds indoors. This guy Gisborne looks like the only one with half a brain. And he gets a real sly look, and he starts looking around there. But you're already gone, right? You're like out the door. And we're gonna go with the old legendary thing that if you're carrying it, it's like subsumed into your invisibility, right? It's not like there's a giant pile of gold floating around the castle. Although that would be funny. After that gold, but guy at Gisborne, you two can see him now too. He goes up and stands in the doorway and he looks around. His eyes have narrowed and it looks like he's got an idea about something. And he slowly backs into the room, and you see him whisper a little something in the sheriff's ear. But the other two of you, I'm sure, don't want to stand around, for too long. I imagine you keep walking. And
Yeah, that's a wonderful distraction of a lot of guards right there, though. So
that's true. That's true.
A fair amount of booty that we'll probably be able to get too.
And there's a great hue and a cry in there. There's one other big room that you walk past on the way to the tower. It seems like a guest room. And that door is open, too. And inside, you can actually see Jacuzzi in there himself. And he's talking with his mistress, Beatrice, who you've met before. He's like, have you heard that song they're singing about me down in the village? It's scandalous. I just went out to take the morning air. I could hear it drifting up on the wind. It's absurd. Makes me seem like a silly goose. If only I'd had my sword ready when those robbers violated me, I'd have shown them a thing or two. Oh, just wait till I get my hands on those ruffians. I will give them what for. Yes, my dear, of course you will. And he's fuming as he stalks up and down. Now, you guys don't have to mess with him, too, but if you would like to, he's
Belgar will certainly whistle the tune to the song as we're walking past.
What? Who's doing that? Hey!
Maybe.
Hey! No! Stop that! You stop that right now! And he rushes up to the door and yells after you. Never be treated this disrespectfully in Normandy.
Just keep walking.
Who are you?
So...
Yeah, and Belgar would just be like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm just taking the prisoner to the dungeon."
Stop singing that song! I command you to...
I heard that song as we were walking in. Everybody down there was singing it.
No, they weren't! It's a terrible song. It's a piece of drivel. And I won't countenance and I won't listen to it again. I'll have to tell my very important friend, Prince John, to have you sacked, sir.
Oh, I am a guard. I have worked here for a long time. I don't appreciate that, good sir.
Well, I don't appreciate being ridiculed by the common soldiery, he said, enunciating every R.
I was just humming something I heard. Don't get everything. You seem like like you're kind of tight in the back end. Just calm down a little bit.
If he was tighter in the back end, this wouldn't be a problem, said Beatrice. And you, he says, turns around. What good were you laughing while I invented?
And then while that happens, I will go down the hallway.
She's distracted him long enough that you guys can get on further down to where the large tower is. You also pass like a barracks and a stable, and there's a proper feasting hall, and you go by the kitchens and everything. But, Roger Goode is in the dungeon. And when you go into the big main floor of that round tower, there's about 6 castle guards in here. They're just lounging around. And they're playing knuckle bones and doing things that soldiers do. They stand up when you come in. Well, what have we here? And I got to remember that they can't see. I got to remember that they cannot see Arthur. But what they do see is one of their own guards bringing in obviously a dirty forest boy who's in manacles. Well, what have we here?
Well, this little ruffian, he attacked two of the guards just a few minutes ago in the courtyard. You might have heard about it, where one of and it poked one of them with this very pitchfork right here.
Oh yes,
I'm the devil.
You're the devil.
Yeah. Look at me.
I'd take a wide berth if I were you. He may actually be the devil. We don't know.
Well, if you're the devil, show us something. Yeah, this is right. If you're the devil, make something catch on fire.
Well, I don't know about fire, but I can just from this distance alone, I can make your ears wiggle. Well, and I'm going to... he doesn't know where Arthur Brown is, but he's going to try to look in some direction and try to wink at him where he thinks he might be.
Okay. Well, I've got my arms, imagine, full of these
full
coins.
of gold, Yeah.
But
I'll
I'll
have to wiggle his ears some other...
I'll walk over to the guy and try to wiggle one of his ears with my nose.
And he slaps at his ears. Stop that! What is that?
That's me, Satan.
You're no Satan. You're just a simple conjurer of cheap tricks. But if you'd like to be Satan, what do you say, boys? In the dawn, let's treat him like the witch he is then. That's right. If you're the devil, there's only one thing for you, and that's to be burned. And they open up the trap door, and...
No, this one's supposed to go into the dungeon. The bailiff said specifically with Roger Goode. I don't know why. But.
Well, Roger Goode's being put to the question at the moment in here. Yes, you could join your little friend Roger Goode. Right this way. And they lead you into a room that's not down in the trap door. And you can hear Roger cry out in pain, and there's a cracking sound. And they push through a door, and there's a table in there. Roger Goode has got one guard is holding his hand down on the table, and another guard is bending his fingers on his right hand backwards so far that they crack. And now tell us, who are the leaders of the Poop Ruby Bandits? And when you guys walk in, his eyes widen when he looks at you, Spencer, but he doesn't say anything. But he's manful. There are tears running down his cheeks. You can't hold out forever. And you see they've already, broken all the fingers on his left hand. They're starting on his right hand.
That's enough, boys. That's enough. Bailiff wants me to take him up to him.
What?
He's going to meet the sheriff right now. That's what Bailiff said.
Well, this isn't your lucky day, is it, you little forest brat? Hang on, I haven't broken his pinky yet. Let me just... there we go. Roger cries out. See, they've been beating the shit out of him, too.
The sheriff said he wants to break all his fingers.
Well, it's a little
Better
late.
Watch out, man. You're going to get in trouble.
There's still lots more of them to break, says another one. And, well, I suppose if the sheriff himself wants to get involved, who are we to say? Say, I don't think I've met you yet, friend. Are you new here from the contingent from London? Don't recognize you.
Well, I used to...
God damn it, I can't remember that. What was the ethnicity of the Welsh or the
Normans?
No, the people that come through the forest that we've been robbing.
There's
Dutch.
the Normans, the Flemish, yeah.
Flemish.
Yeah.
I was mercenary for the Flemish lords as they would go through the forest, and I said it got too dangerous, so I just started working here at the castle.
All right. Well, yep, that's all right then. Take him up to the sheriff. We'll go along with you. He could be troublesome. He's squirrely. And so unless you don't want to go with them or want to figure out if they're going to walk out with you, but it's just the two guys.
How many theys?
Well, just the two. One guy who's holding his arm down on the table, and the other guy who's breaking his fingers.
I think between the three of us, we could probably deal with two people.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's better than 6.
It's sure better than 6. So we'll assume you go out through that room. And then meanwhile, what is Arthur Brown invisibly doing? Following along? Or
carrying a massive armful of gold coins and trying not to drop any. Although he was thinking about just dropping them in the middle of the hallway to try to distract these two guards so we could just run for it. But I don't know if that would work. So,
well,
and I couldn't. I couldn't speak that plan out loud without alerting the actual guards. So
that's true. Although, in fact, whether something will work or not is really up to you. Once I say to roll dice, you get narration rights if you make the roll.
True, but I also want the money.
That's true, and why wouldn't you? But yeah, you guys walk back out into the hall, and word's getting around that, and they're leading him with you. And
if we ever is there a way as we're moving between the dungeon and where the sheriff is there like a hallway that we would ever be in that we would be just us?
Well, there's all kinds of little passages, and I say right by the kitchens. The last thing that you passed was the kitchens, and it's not like there's a huge amount of foot traffic outside the kitchens. You can hear the roaring fire and things like that in the kitchen, but you're not in a direct line of sight of anyone right this very second. It's just you and Roger Goode and the two guards who are roughing him up, and your invisible friend.
Boys, this little kid here, he likes to think of himself as the devil, do weird things to people. I saw him make a guy disappear in the courtyard.
That's
cool.
That's a bunch of rot.
Oh, you don't believe it?
You've been drinking some bad brandy, friend. You're not the devil, kid.
I bet he could make you disappear right now.
Oh, yeah?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see this mighty display of eldritch power then, boy.
Well, you gotta, turn this way. You gotta get down. You gotta get, on your knees and look at him right in the eye.
Oh,
it's
don't
real.
Get no mind. This is a pain in the... do it, Dave. Have a sense of humor, says the other one.
Yeah, Dave.
All right, so he I can't believe I'm doing this. He said he gets down on knees and looks at you in the eye. He's on eye level with you now. Then he goes, all right, boy, show us how you're the great Satan.
Okay. Don't say I didn't warn you. Be gone with you. And
You're muted. I'm waiting for Arthur to do something. That was the grand plan. So.
Yeah, So, we've got this guy, he's down, on his knees, is that right?
Yeah, he's on his knees.
So two of them, three of us, and one of them's on his knees looking at Spencer kind of eye to eye, awaiting something to happen.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Arthur's going to kick him in the face.
All right. So, Arthur, your foot strikes out to kick him in the face. And you know what? We're not going to roll those dice yet. That's the first thing we're going to do at the beginning of our next session is you're going to kick that guy in the face invisibly. So, that's where we'll stop this episode. Boy, an hour goes by fast, doesn't it, friends, when you're having fun?
It does indeed.
Indeed.
It does indeed. Yeah. So, and hopefully the hour has also gone by quickly for our listeners who are having fun as well. And we'll come back for at least one more episode of Heroes of Sherwood Forest. I do want to say again, since I didn't mention it last time, that I do want to thank Theo, JT, and Lag Musics for a lot of the music we've been doing in tonight's episode. And I'd like to thank our good friend Ryan for our lovely ditty about Dakusi that he whipped out for us recently. And
that Arthur Brown has such a beautiful singing voice.
He does. And so, that's about it for this episode, and we will catch you next time.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.